3. Question 3 will be directed to Ed Eiler and will be given by Ms. Stringer.
Tell me your position on the construction of the new county courthouse. If you support the need for a new county courthouse, how soon do you think actual construction could begin?
There is no money to build a new $250 million courthouse. That's the latest estimate. We have a $68.5 million deficit staring us in the face, according to the county manager, in our 5-year financial plan. There will be no new courthouse unless there is a public vote at some point down the road. The existing courthouse does need attention. There are some issues, even if we have the money today, there are some issues that would have to be addressed. For instance, in the current courthouse, we have 3 courtrooms that were built specifically for criminal cases. They are not used for criminal cases. They have secure entrance and exits. They have secure holding areas. Why aren't they used for criminal cases? And we can move the defendants out the hallways? Because the courtrooms are assigned by judge seniority. If I'm a senior judge, I get my courtroom picked. Well, if we're really going to use our existing facilities efficiently and effectively, we need to change some of the practices that currently exist. And that's where the chair of the Johnson County Commission should be the leader in bringing those things to the attention of the public, to the attention of the commission, and making them happen.
John Segal, question 3.
Well, the courthouse is a good example of a lot of the kind of services that the county provides. They're ones that hopefully not many of us have to use. But I think we all in our community over history has always shared a commitment to effective and safe judicial administration. And so, I think it would be foolish for me to sit here, or any of us to sit here and say a courthouse isn't needed, a new courthouse isn't needed. We have a study that goes back 6 years. It was presented when I was, the finished product was presented when I first joined the commission that said we needed a new courthouse, and it laid out the reasons, and the points that Commissioner Eiler raised were also brought into it, how we use that space in the future. And so there are changes in practice in a new courthouse, but that as Commissioner Eiler pointed out, the courthouse situation is a good example of the failure of leadership. The topic has been on the table for 6 years, and I think all of us are praying that the tragedy that often creates a courthouse being rebuilt doesn't occur. Someone gets hurt. And so we need to stop fiddling around and start moving this forward by going out into the community with the judges and the legal community and everyone else who's involved with the courthouse and making the case to the public as why this needs to be built. And from that we can move forward.
And that's her mom.
Well, the courthouse is a public safety issue. The courthouses being built today are basically 2 towers, one for public to enter, one for others less desirable to enter, and they meet in the middle in courtrooms. That is very expensive. If the $4 million number would be what it would take to improve, and we're going to have to spend that no matter what if we stay there. The improvements are absolutely necessary. There are safety issues as well as electricity and other kind of technicalities. The $227 million to build the courthouse is based on it being started today with a 5-year build-out with the inflation built in. So the longer it goes, the more it's going to be. Having said that, we simply don't have the money to do it. We need to have an effort from the community, and we're getting ready to start that, of people that aren't just judges, but people, a cross-section of the community, to look at what we need in a courthouse and more importantly, how we could pay for it. It will have to be a public vote. You cannot do something like that without a public vote. But it doesn't do any good to have a public vote if you don't have a financing mechanism.
John Toplicker, question 3 on the courthouse.
Yes, if I am chairman, if I am elected chairman, I will push for and schedule a public vote, which is not scheduled at this time. To my knowledge, none of the commissioners have talked about putting this out to a public vote. It's not been scheduled. It should, if it's going to be continued to be plugged into the budget, the purchasing of land and everything else, the picking of the site, and the paying the architects for the proposed drawings and the engineers, those things have already been started. Money has already been doled out. When a project like this starts going so far down the road without having a public vote, there's a problem there. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say we've got to take a closer look at these things. We've got to bring to the table accountability to local government, visibility in discussions that go on in secret meetings, executive sessions. We've got to cut these things out and be more accountable, have town hall meetings. We've got to do things like this to bring the people in and see what the will of the people is. You can't talk about being in a recession or maybe depression and at the same time build a $400 million, $200 million